Hey friends, it's great to be back again together for another daily devotional as we work through the book of Hosea. Our reading today comes from Hosea chapters 11 through 14. And as we've been working through this book, we're understanding what God is saying to Israel about how they've put their confidence in themselves and failed to rely on Him, about how they're going to be exiled from their land. All things they couldn't see or understand because they refused to listen to the prophets. Today's reading starts in chapter 11, and the prophet is talking about God's love for Israel. But wait a second, I thought we just said He was angry. God is angry. This gives us a chance to understand a little more about how God's love and His justice go hand in hand. Chapter 11, verse 9 says, "No, I will not unleash my fierce anger. I will not completely destroy Israel, for I am God and not a mere mortal. I am the Holy One living among you, and I will not come to destroy." The prophet has been talking about the injustice in the land, the oppression of the poor, Israel's failure to live the way God called them to live, focusing on themselves instead of on the community, and relying on their own prosperity. God is angry. They failed to care for the least among them, and God hates the injustice that He sees. We can fall into thinking that God feels things the same way that we do, but this verse reminds us, God is holy, and we are not. When we're angry, we can think that what we want is justice, but what we're really after is retribution. Our anger can make us think that the other party should suffer because of how we feel. God's anger is holy because He is holy. His anger doesn't drive toward retribution, but toward restoration. Even though the sin of Israel is great, God isn't going to write them off. He's going to discipline them, yes. We see that play out in their exile. But it's because He loves them. His discipline corrects and redirects and is focused on restoring their relationship. Once the time of their punishment has ended, God says in verse 11, "I will bring them home again." Remember today, God is always bringing us back into relationship with Him. He's redeeming and restoring us. That doesn't mean we live any old way we want to. Hosea is very clear about that. We need to live lives in step with God. But go today with the understanding that in all that He does, God's heart and desire is to perpetually bring us back to Himself, and we have the privilege of responding to Him. Join in the conversation on Facebook, and we'll see you next week.